The recent killing of Palestinian-American journalist Shireen Abu Akleh got a lot of attention in the media, in part because it was caught on video. But Abu Akleh isn't the only Palestinian-American who's been killed for trying to highlight the injustices suffered by Palestinians. Alex Odeh, the regional director of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, was killed in Santa Ana in Southern California when a bomb exploded as he entered the committee's offices on October 11, 1985. The main suspects in the case were Robert Manning, Keith Israel Fuchs, and Baruch Ben Yosef, all members of the Jewish Defense League. Manning is now serving a life sentence for another murder, but Fuchs and Ben Yosef are living freely in Israel. Independent journalist David Sheen says he's come up with evidence that could help convict the murderers of Alex Odeh. He says he's interviewed a former associate of Ben Yosef and Fuchs who's willing to testify about their participation in Odeh's murder. But the FBI hasn't yet questioned this individual. We asked Sheen how much publicity there's been in Israel about the Odeh murder.
Zero. There has been zero publicity about the Alex Odeh murder.
Even in Haaretz.
Let me just say that after there was a little bit of a buzz in the U.S. media, after Illinois Senator Dick Durbin wrote a letter, partly in response to my own reporting, noticed that I'd published that the suspects in Alex Odeh's murder were out and about, living large, in known settlements and politically active. He, wrote a letter to the director of the FBI saying, "What's up with this? How can this be? We need to get to the bottom of this. I want an update." And after that, because, we now have a U.S. senator speaking about an Israeli issue or, to do with Israel. So there was kind of a follow-up article in Haaretz. But sadly, that article actually took us back. It actually regressed the record, the Israeli record at least, on Alex Odeh, because instead of actually saying these guys, we've actually been reporting about them. If the Haaretz journalists had only gone down into the archives or called down to the archives, they've got 100 years of archives that they could have gone through and been like, wow, these guys who were suspected of Odeh's murder were, before they ever even committed that murder, they had their own terrorist records right here in this country. Some of the most infamous terrorist acts in the country's history in the 1980s. So optimally, it could have been a great opportunity to look back at the Kach movement and how the people who were, at the vanguard of it have now restored to greatness and are receiving a renaissance. But instead, it just said, oh, well, these are the names of the murder suspects, and that's it. Who knows where they live or where they are, what they're doing. And so it was a bit of a whitewash, unfortunately. It's too bad that we didn't see that, even from the liberal press.
That's independent journalist David Sheen.